Good evening. My name is Jun Sa. I am Theresa Guo's husband and Dr. Ten-Huei Guo's son-in-law. Thank you all for joining us here tonight to celebrate his life and the impact that he has had on all of our lives. In a minute, I'll be reading a short scripture passage from Psalm, and I'll follow that with a brief prayer. The scripture reading will be from Psalm 23. Hear now the reading of God's word. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Let us bow our heads. Father God, we thank you for the life of Ten-Huei Guo, a devoted husband, a loving father, a warm and generous friend to many, and a son of God. Through our tears and sorrow, we thank you for putting him in our lives, doing your work through his life, and enriching our lives.
Recording in progress.
Through his presence and the way he loved all of us. We thank you that we have come to better understand your grace through him. And we thank you for the permanent imprint he has left in our hearts as we remember and celebrate a man of great integrity and resolve, charity and authenticity, wisdom and benevolence. We ask that you be with us, Theresa and Tiffany and their mother, his family and his extended family. Help us to feel your presence as we grieve and give us comfort with your healing grace. Lord, we come to you in our mourning, in our grief, in our struggles and vulnerabilities. We ask that you hear our prayers, draw us closer to you, and give our hearts peace until we can be reunited once again as a family in the life everlasting. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I pray. Amen. His nephew Julius will come up to introduce some of his close friends and family.
First, we will have a video presentation from the Guo family. His brothers, sisters, and nieces who are in Taiwan, Australia, and New Zealand could not be here today.
种菜，还接了一些零工在家里做。Ten-Huei就是那个常常帮妈妈做这些零工的小工，他不但会缝鞋面，也会打毛线。那时候，穷人翻身最快的方式，可能就是考上医学院当个医生。这个也是妈妈当初对他的期待。我们从小叫他的小名，因为他在我们兄弟中皮肤比较黑一点。O.A. 的台湾话的意思就是黑的人。后来他也因此为他的绰号，大概是他在求学的时候优异的表现，常常都是 O.A. 他也以此为号。可是事实上，他也有被当掉的意思，而且因为那一次的失败，改变了他的一生。那是有一次，他在替母亲做助手，母亲要杀一只鸡，请他抓住鸡，让他从脖子下刀。Ten-Huei不忍看这只鸡被杀的样子，就将头转到别的地方。妈妈因此说：“如果你的心肠这么软，那怎么能够做医生呢？医生是常常要开刀，而且要常常看到病人的痛。”从此，他再也没有期望他能够去读医学院。这就是这样改变了他求学的方向与事业。我想最受益的应该是NASA，他们应该给我母亲一个道谢。
O.A. 小的时候，家中的经济并不好，他总是穿4个哥哥留下来的旧衣服，不会为他买新衣服，因为他没有弟弟。这些旧衣服对他不是太大，就是太小。他成长的过程当中穿这些不合身的旧衣服，可能是这个原因。所以让他长得比较矮，比较胖。他从小就是学霸，小学老师算不出来的算术题目让他来解，他都可以解出来。爸爸是农林改良场的最低阶的小公务员，但是当我也参加联考的那几年，爸爸放榜的时候，爸爸都会是农林改良场的风云之路，因为我也都会考上大家心目中的第一志愿。
O.A. 是我最小的哥哥，当我初3时，他已上大学，我和他没有许多交集。他沉默寡言，为母亲生活的重担，常看在眼里，放在心里，让他看起来很严肃忧郁。但是作为一个小妹妹，我看到她在妈妈忙不过来的时候，学会用土灶煮饭，回家做好吃，我们家兄弟妹都会吵架，因为每个人不法可能造成竞争的落马死两人。事后我就会抱怨，或许他以前真的可以上下去，但是他对我们的兄妹也是人尽可他上大学以后比较开朗，也常写信给我。我上大学时，他当兵，每个月给我1200元，当时辅导长1000多元。但他上大学时当家教，寒暑假去当劳工，却要我吃好一点，也不要我晚上摸黑去家教。教书几年后，去哥伦布斯念书，他也是把住宿所有一切该打点的东西买好买满，连冰箱、电视都有。怕我钱不够用，常常硬塞钱给我。放假时，与淑珍载我去他们家，几乎留学生的拮据跟孤单，我几乎都过了。毕业后回台湾结婚时，他给我一大笔钱当嫁妆。我当妈妈后的第一张母亲节卡片，是他代替 Kelly 寄给我的。1991年，我们全家去 Boston 做研究，去之前，他早就帮我们准备了一辆车，塞满了家用品，甚至连 Tiffany 和 Theresa 的玩具都分给 Kelly。回台湾后，我调回台北上班，他听说我日子过得不是那么开心，他要我们 快乐地过了4年的暑假。每一次回台湾，他送我们到机场时，我都忍不住痛哭。我何其有幸，比起别人，我生命中多了一个妈妈。亲爱的小哥哥，我多么舍不得你离开我们。没有你的日子是多么的无趣，因为有你在的地方总是充满欢笑、温暖、同理、体贴、睿智以及满满的爱。有人说妈妈是上帝私下照顾每个人的天使，我何其感恩生命中多一个天使。
是张颖，郭天辉的妹婿。认识郭天辉是在政战学校预官受训的时候，我们被分配到同一个连队，但在不同的排。生活作息虽然相同，但却不在同一个群体，所以没有什么互动。之所以认识他，是因为他皮肤黑，身体也硕壮，所以以为他是个原住民呢。哪知数年后赴美到俄州大念书的某一个暑假，有同学办了一个去尼加拉瀑布旅游的计划，其中一个行程是回程到克里夫兰郭金枝的哥哥家 BBQ。回程到克里夫兰已经是傍晚了，哪知出来应门的竟是郭天辉。我脱口而出说：“你是郭天辉吗？”他好像有点吃惊，我想他应该不记得我了。世上有许多事看似巧合，但回头来看，应该是上天的安排吧。如今他也离我们而去，内心除了不舍，也期待哪一天能够在天上再相见了。
这儿，我是 Kelly， 谢谢你从小对我跟妈妈的照顾。在我小时候，每年暑假你都欢迎我们去你们家玩。在那段时间里，我最感谢的不单是你规划我们出去玩的时间，反而更多是你在家里盯着我们每个小朋友写作业，即便没有写完被你惩罚或者是责骂，我从来都没有觉得委屈或者是反感。为什么会这样呢？因为你从来没有把我当成其他人的孩子，而是实实在在你的孩子。小时候去你们家的时候，每一年我都期待你有看到我的成长。我很希望我表现得够好，够mature，让你不用担心我跟妈妈。也希望你觉得我也是一个跟 Theresa、Tiffany 一样值得骄傲的一个女儿。我感谢神让我有一位兼具亲人、父亲、老师、朋友、伙伴这样多重身份的舅舅在身边。就像你说的，我也觉得我很 lucky， 因为遇到你，我成为这个世界上独一无二的子女。Dear sir, I love you very, very much, and I believe we'll meet again in heaven.
Dear uncle, I am going to miss your smile, your love, cracking jokes, and I know that you would want us to be sad even now. I remember your joy and curiosity. You were ever learning and exploring new things. Today I marvel at how you lived, and that inspired me for my own life. Thank you for being you. Now whenever I see rocks, I will think of you. I feel like this poem by John O'Donoghue speaks to us at this time. Let us not look for you only in memory, where we would grow lonely without you. You want us to find your presence. Beside us, when beauty brightens, when kindness grows, and music echoes eternal time. May you continue to inspire us to enter each day with a generous heart, to serve the call of courage and love, until we see your beautiful face again. In that land where there is no more separation, where all tears will be wiped from our mind, and where we will never lose. Goodbye, everyone.
Next, we'll have Always Friends from college at National Taiwan University and graduate school at Purdue. It will be presented by Shi-Ming.
台大电机系的同学，所以我代表所有电机系的同学来送 OA 最后一程。OA 的 life 是很精彩，我们也知道，大家都知道。他在大学里面也有很多值得大家思念的地方。那我今天呢，我们有很多同学都写了一些纪念文给在这个board 上面。我淑珍呢就挑了几份，我在这边就帮他们念一下，来文照读啊。所以呢，如果这个有什么差错的地方，不要怪我，我是照原文照读啊。OK， 我先念第一段是李贤哲写的李贤哲跟他很久的朋友，他用英文写，所以我只有用英文再来念。OA and I attended the same high school, college, and graduate school. We were in the same class at the high school and the college. He is witty, just, generous, and so talented in so many ways. The time spent with him in school has been quite fun and memorable. Let me share some of his OA stories. One year in high school, during the few weeks before his final exam, he walked past me, seeing me studying. He said it was not going well for him because he had not been able to finish reviewing the textbook for the third round. I laughed and said I had not even finished the first round. Then he said, "That's right. He is also trying to read the textbooks the first round." Such is a classical OA joke. Is it dry? I don't know. My comment. Our high school conversations often turned to discussion of what we had been learning about Confucius sayings. OA always had his own personal interpretation to share. One of the well-known Confucius sayings is, at 30, I could begin thinking independently. At 40, I was no longer confused. Always said, Confucius was a slow learner because he would be confused the first time and the second time and so on until he was confused the 39th time before he could get it right at the 40th time. Since OA did very well in his college exam, I think his interpretation of the Confucius sayings probably made some sense to other scholars. Question mark. In remembering my time with OA in the past, I now recall one more Confucius saying. There are three kinds of friends good to have. Friends who are honest, friends who are understanding, and friends who are informative. It seems that in OA, I met all three types of good friends in one person. I learned a lot from him. Maybe I should go back to read Confucius' sayings again, and I wish he could give me more of his interpretations. That's the end for his answer. Another good friend of him is Shu-Guai, also our friend, our classmate. Here starts. OA and I knew each other for over 50 years. We were undergraduate classmates in Taiwan and lived in the same dormitory. We met again in graduate school. He was always energetic and upbeat. He was a very likable guy and smiled a lot. People felt comfortable talking to him. OA had multiple talents. First, When he was younger, he was a good sprinter. He was in the 4x100 relay team for our undergraduate department and in the school competition. Finished among the top 3. Second, he had very good knowledge of cars. When we were at Purdue, he troubleshooted my old Renault many times, either fixing it directly or recommendations. We were poor students, and the DIY was an understatement. Thank you, right? Third, he had a talent for cutting hair. He did my haircuts many times, and it looked good. Fourth, he played volleyball well. He was the main force on the team that beat the Chinese student team from University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and University of Wisconsin-Madison. Last, but not least, he was a good singer. He sang bass in the Purdue Chinese student choir. I still can hear the deep voice coming out of him as I stood behind him. Hui and I were bachelors when we arrived at Purdue. We ended up participating in a lot of the same activities. I went to his apartment so many times to hang out. He was also a very good cook. That's another talent. And I enjoyed eating his food. I saw him and Shu-Jane got acquainted, entered into a relationship, and eventually got married. I was very happy to serve as a groomsman in the wedding. Another fun fact, Hui ended up being the coordinator, a DIY coordinator for my wedding. After marriage, Hui and Shu-Jane moved to married students' housing. I was a frequent visitor to their house too. I have so many fond memories of us all spending time together at Purdue. After graduate school, Hui and Shu-Jane moved to Cleveland, and I moved to Silicon Valley. We didn't see each other that often due to geographical distance. One time, Hui's whole family visited us in San Jose. I was able to see their 2 daughters for the first time. I sensed Hui and Shu-Jane were very proud and happy to be the parents of 2 lovely girls. Throughout the following years, Hui came to Silicon Valley a few times, and we always met at the restaurant. I remember always sharing details about his family and his work at NASA. Upon hearing Hui got cancer, I was in total shock. He had always been physically strong and healthy, and I felt it couldn't be true. I encouraged him to try to keep his mind peaceful and bravely follow his treatments. I prayed for him. Sadly, his fight ended too soon. My old friend, my heart is with you and your family. I will miss you so long, and may you rest in peace. That's from Susan Biao. And then three more in Chinese. 这个是从陈南明高一那年，肖必柱到台中一中成立演唱团，我们2个都去报名参加。那天中午去的演唱也是很好的大，那天也是高不成低不就的陪唱。后来我们在普渡也都加入合唱团，刚开始没几个人，林正贤还是很认真的教大家。后来蔡文强、郭志华、沈淑珍纷纷加入， 成为一个将近30个人的合唱团，还常常在同学会的活动中演唱。大二时，我们都住进男生第5宿舍，你住105寝室，我住104。为期助理延续到大学宿舍。大4时，醉月湖落成，你们几个把它叫做醉月湖，也没有一个正式的名称。后来大家就引用醉月湖。你们还办了一个划船比赛，一个船座2个人，男的划船，女的指挥。划到湖心亭来回，很多人翻船，你还是很尴尬。男孩子都借机献殷勤。湖心亭本来有一座桥到岸边，划船比赛后就不知道为什么拆除了，一直到今天都不再有桥梁通到湖心亭。去普渡那年，你在夏威夷，跟我说你和王兰彪经常去海滩戏水，说是念完后想到普渡念博士，我就拿了你的资料去找 Koibo， 他看一看说你已经有录取许可，于是他就给你一个 RA。于是我没有同学了，在普渡3年，我们夏天一起去游泳，冬天在体育馆里头打乒乓球、羽毛球及排球，看着你跟沈淑珍打乒乓球，练合唱团练得这么勤，果然好事近啊！很高兴你们结为连理，一辈子相伴，又生了2个好女儿，晚年没有牵挂，只是没想到你身体这么硬朗的人，居然比我还走得早。人生无常，你就一路好走。淑珍，你要多保重，回来是多远的。以上是陈安明。下一篇我念这个何天成的信。OA 是我永远怀念的同学和朋友。民国58年大学暑期集训期间，我们台中是台大同属一排。OA 与我一起就是好朋友。1982，我路过普渡大学，住在他们夫妇家中。之后我又2度去过他们在 Cleveland 的家。他们全家4口，还带我去 Buffalo 以前哲家过夜。隔天去拿个货，实在是怀念特别多。天辉每次回台，一定回台中探望母亲，我们也都有见面。每次我请他及女儿们一起去台中电信训练所分手唱歌。我记得大女儿 Theresa 唱了一首很好听的《Thousand Distances》，Quick Words， 就不太记得，歌名就不太记得。天辉受邀回大同公司任董事时，在台中，我们夫妇也都有去参加，以及3个夫妇及其他朋友一起在金城路旁的素食餐厅吃美食聊天。甚至郭妈妈搬到台南时，我也去台南见过天辉几次。Tiffany 结婚在台北请客，我也有幸参加。天辉与我实在是有兄弟的感情，实在是怀念多多。以上是何天成。最后一篇，我们同学写的很多啊，所以不耽误大家时间，这个淑珍就挑了5份来讲。这一份是林崇仁书写的啊。OA 我是林崇仁，然后很 typical 一个大头了。记得在高2在休息时常和你用函数字，用圈叉下棋、围棋， 当时当林海峰在日本名人赛本因坊争夺其王时，我们也跟着疯狂，并当起评论员。到底谁占优势？像是我们也是高手一般。后来周末也曾和陈南明一起到您家和李贤哲家实战围棋，每每开战初期明明占了上风，到了尾盘却翻盘。诚如陈南明所说，差点要翻桌了啊！后来您南明贤哲和我有缘一起大学同班，从台中北上，一起到第8新生宿舍，天天在所谓的夜总会旁住了1年。还记得新生训练结束当天晚上练机器迎新时，您贤哲兄和我都骑着脚踏车到电机系馆。有学长说脚踏车没人看管很危险，我们却不怕，想说上手就好了。结果新生迎新完车也没了。当我们从宿舍到大学要走好久，害我们从宿舍到学校要走好久。您是我们几个高中同班身体最好的，体育最好的。记得高中时您100米跑12秒3，体育也强。记得台大大2校庆800公尺接力时，我第1棒交给您时，您助跑好快。又交完棒时，我就没体力当场跌倒。您是如此身体强壮，如今进仙门组总召，惊讶、伤感、怀念下，欣慰的是心无挂碍，安详的走，都为安息。以上林从，谢谢。
Next, OA's friends from University of Hawaii Graduate School will be presented by Huang Suen-Yi.
In memory of Ten-Huei Guo, the following memorial tributes are present on his close Hawaiian friends' behalf. The first one, 约46年前，有机会跟缘分和老郭在夏威夷同住一房间当室友。每2个星期轮流煮饭、买菜给大家吃。老郭的手艺可以说是文武双全。老郭的为人诚恳，平时据我所了解，他对于父母亲是非常有孝顺，对于他的哥哥、他的妹妹以及朋友有情有义，对家庭很有责任感。平时谈笑是非常丰盛，很幽默的。我记得老郭，你曾经跟我开玩笑过，你什么都吃，只有一样不吃，什么东西？亏你不吃。当然我知道你是开玩笑，但是这个幽默也不是说一般人能够表现出来。还有一次，你很风趣的跟我提到麻将，我就生气的气。但是台语来讲是说我每一次都会参加，都会不会缺席的。隶属不尽，老郭你待我如兄长，看是我的小孩子跟孙子，就像自己的人一样。 百般的照顾，这一切我都能够感受得到。老郭的为人善良，热心助人。以前台湾盲人队来美国参加比赛，他出钱出力协助，让这些参加的这队员呢没有后顾之忧，能够完成他的任务。老郭的天资很聪明，他很喜欢解这个困难的数学的谜题，包括就是说他曾经向我提过，他为什么会取名字叫做 OA。第一个代表他的肤色是有一点比较黑暗一点，但是另外一个意思，他的功课就是全部都是 A，OA， 所以它有2个含义。这个就是非常有幽默感的人才能够取到这个名字。那老郭呢也很随和，很健谈。虽然他有时候就是说他自己的身体不太好，但是呢，有时候我们无所不聊，包括时事新闻，有时候一通电话讲到深夜，欲罢不休。这些种种呢，让我想起来，就是说，非常的这个想念你。老郭，虽然我们从去年9月以后，在你离世之前，不能够再谋面 ，You will always be forever remembered in my heart, my good friend. Rest in peace. 黄Suen-Yi敬扣。第2篇是一个也是夏威夷的朋友，我在这边代念。记得我在厦大是老郭来接我，从此开启了45年的友谊。我的开车是他教的，每一天下课回家吃晚餐，他让我开车，他就是说坐在这个那个 driver seat。元旦假期我要求去考驾照，他说不会过啦。后来我们打赌，他开了就是说赌100块钱美金。这张支票到现在我们的林董事长呢还没有去兑现，一直留着做纪念。有一年，他去就是说这个05年去美国Ohio出差，然后呢，他在这个就是说老郭呢在 Case Western 那时候在当教授，他觉得太过轻松，没有什么意思，不够挑战，他想到这个产业去试一试。后来呢，这个林董事长呢就把这个林益民啊介绍给他，然后他进入了这个 General Electric。前年我邀请他担任大同公司的这个总经理，老郭回绝，他说因为家庭的这个因素，所以但是呢，他同意担任董事，因为董事比较就是有弹性。后来我们还一起开过董事会，这一切呢还历历的，就是显在这个林无烟的眼中，老郭是天才，头脑好，做人更好，对家人、对朋友没有话说。虽然先到天国，但是我们都怀念你，你这一生是成功的。生命有定数，俗缘了就要去天上做仙了。老郭一生平顺无憾，有家人在旁，安详的走，我们都怀念你，林文烟。第3篇是这个Irene Chen， 千言万语，不知何从说起。在厦大，我们一起口傲，一起打牌。你这个系状元就是聪明，没什么难不倒你的，没什么难倒你的。每一次输赢，差不多都是我垫底。拆解9连环，对你来说也是轻而易举，一拆就解。Weekend， 大伙一起到 East West Center 打乒乓球跟撞球。打完以后，第二摊就去披萨Hut吃披萨，喝啤酒。有一阵子每一个礼拜看一部武侠片，印象特别深刻的就是流星蝴蝶剑。那些快乐的日子，都是与你一起共享的。离开夏威夷以后，你是这一群朋友回国次数最多，而我们也因为你的回来，在台湾的朋友才有机会相聚。诚如你所说的，你这一生 have a good life， 有那么幸福美满的家庭，还有情谊那么深厚的一群朋友在你的旁边，永远思念你。老郭，你真的不枉此生了。现在你在极乐世界成仙，与佛共修，莲品高升，我们永远永远怀念你。Irene Chen， 好，谢谢。
Always Friends from Cleveland will be presented by Chen Shu-Guai, Yi-Shi.
Good evening, dear Jane Sue. I should say, I'm sorry, my name is Sue as well. And Theresa, Jerry, and Smith. I'm so glad that we're able to make it here. It's not going to be easy for me to speak of this. I will try to, Shu-Jane asked me to quote everybody, but if I do that, we'll be here for all day. Because there's been so many messages sent through the email, and I try to post that and go on. I know Owen very well, more than 30, almost 40 years, from all the time that we spent in Cleveland. He's such an exceptional person. From all the comments I got together from all the friends, one can conclude that he's an exceptionally good man. What is exceptionally good man? I don't know, but it's really, it's very good sense of humor. He's always very helpful. He's very passionate, knowledgeable. He never show off. Very low key, very easy to get along. And many of the younger generation, because in Cleveland, from Greater Cleveland Association, from Taiwanese Greater Cleveland Association, we have meeting 4, 5, 6 times a year, and so we welcome a lot of younger generation to come, just like when Shu-Jane and OA started in Cleveland, almost what year did you guys come?
1983.
Yeah, 1983, so it's almost 40 years. Because yesterday when I showed my husband one of the pictures that was taken in 1992, he said, 20 years ago. I said, no, it's 30 years ago. But anyway, everybody liked him so much that I don't know how to really, say in any individual way. But to carry out his career in Cleveland, I mean, he led many, many leadership roles in Cleveland. First, to start with, the Greater Cleveland, Taiwanese Greater Cleveland area is a Taiwanese association formed by the Taiwanese family, because when we started in a different country, like in the United States, we don't have any close relative. We don't have grandpa, grandma. So many years ago, maybe 50 years ago, I think when we did our history recently, it was about 50 years ago, that Greater Cleveland Taiwanese Association was formed by a few professors like Guo Family, 那个 Polly 他们在那个陈泽雄的家里的 basement that formed the association. So when they came to Cleveland, they participate in many of the activities. And Owe is probably the only person that I know that he can rap in Taiwanese. Any of you try to do that, it's not possible. But he did the whole 安东歌爱，不知道你有没有听过这个？He can start from the beginning to the end without looking at anything. And one of the person who sent the message over just this afternoon said one of the event that he had, he was speaking in Taiwanese such that a lot of people don't even know what he said because it's very difficult. The true typical Taiwanese is not that easy for some of us that didn't really grow up speaking a lot of Taiwanese. And not to mention that you can rap the Anton Go that impress everybody and everybody laugh. In 1992, we wanted to put up a music dance, but we need 2 men to do the chief. And I didn't know what to do, but I did ask him, and he volunteered, maybe with a little push from me. He and my husband were the 2 chiefs. And then when the curtain opened up with 2 men with a bare chest, everybody just laughed into big laughter. And even this afternoon, I got quite a few messages still, from some of the people in the audience that day, still remember that time, that when they saw him come out with the, like black mark on the face and bare chest and the funny uniform that we made. But anyway, he was always very helpful. Never refuse anything. Probably the best MC that you can find if you have a small or a big event, because he can be the person who just put all parts together, but can also lead the meeting very well. There's a young man in the back who tried to get in at the, maybe 8 years ago. In Taiwanese Association, we realized we have to carry the tradition. And with some of us getting older, we cannot do that forever. So we started to get involved, some of the younger generation, and Cliff Chai, who brought his daughter here, I just found out he also moved to San Diego recently. He was one of the younger generation, graduate school student that in Cleveland, we elect him as a board member in order to carry the tradition. And somebody mentioned about the Taiwanese blind baseball team. Any one of you ever seen a blind person play baseball? The only 2 persons that are not legally blind are the pitcher and the catcher. The rest of them are blind. So we, in Cleveland, I think we win 2 or 3 championships, right? In Cleveland, the one year they came to Cleveland, and we asked the participants, who are usually the younger people in their teens and early adults. We asked them, what do you guys want to do? They said, we want to go to Buffalo. And people said, see the Niagara Falls. And a lot of people said, you can't see what you're gonna do there. But Oi and I, we drove to one of the, what do you call the van? Yeah. That can carry 15 passenger van. So we took the 2 passenger and brought them there. They were so impressed because the waterfall, we rode the boat, and the way you see on their face is amazing. But it just to show that how much, Oi is willing to take his time. And since then, we've been doing a lot of fundraising, because every year for them to come to play here, they don't have the money or the resources. Somebody have to help them out. So, he always volunteer himself to do a lot of fundraising. But anyway, for the sake of time, I think a couple of things I have to say. For Chinese school, also in Cleveland, I heard that he was a teacher and principal, just like most of the parents have to do. So on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, he'll be at the door to welcome the students and the parents to participate. And the one thing I have to mention, they call this Tzi-Chi. You know what that means? When Tiffany and Theresa were getting into the youth group, because they were so talented, they put so much effort in their music. So 2 of them, and the Tsai family, I think Christine is here, Christine and his brother, Peter, they were such a good musician, playing very well, so they formed a quartet. And because
Guo is the last name, Guo's last name, right? Cai is after Cai's last name. So this Da Guo Cai means the quartet. And he would take these young people in their teens to play, to perform in different nursing facility or retirement area, to kind of let us know that it's really important to learn how to share and that kind of thing. So overall, I just have to say that all the years I spent with Boy, I cannot say anything, less than I really respect him, and he's probably, how do I say, the coolest person that I know and respect. In Cleveland, besides what just mentioned, there's quite a few associations that we have, like the National Taiwan University alumni, that we meet about 2-3 times a year. He also took part. We have hiking group Saturday, and not to mention the chorus group. Chorus group people send me so many messages about how he was devoted to the group. It's amazing. We practice twice a month. We spend many times in their house because we have to use the host house as a practice site. And he also invited us many times to spend our Thanksgiving dinner together. So it just to show you that how he is, and then his Taiwanese is amazing. Do we all know that? 下下叫台语想来讲，下下叫呀。Yeah, because he jokingly talked about his mother who never gone to school, so they communicate with the Roman, what do you call that? 罗马音嘛，拼音罗马拼音。所以他说他的妈妈的英文是下下下下叫啦。To kind of show that how good his mother is. It's just the way he is. So we're just gonna remember him. And to end, I think all I would like us to say, do not cry because it's over. Smile because it happens. God bless him. Thank you.
Next, from Tzi-Chi Medical Foundation, Vice CEO of Tzi-Chi, Dr. Peter Chen.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Peter Chen. I know OA is through Dr. Shen. 20-some years ago in Cleveland, I was in charge of the Healthy Community Program for Tzi-Chi Foundation. And me and the Dr. Shen, I think, is the co-sponsor. At the same time, the or XO, whatever it is, but anyhow, but immediately he agreed right away to be the examiner, reviewer. So since then I know him well, and the OA, Mr. Guo, really a person. He's a very simple person, but he's very intelligent. And it was caught me a surprise, and about almost 9 days ago, I think 9 days ago, the Dr. Shen texted me a message that already passed away. It was surprising. I never heard that you were hurt, because I just got the news every other month. I had someplace in the some sort of national park all the time. So I told my wife I was so envied that the couple, they travel around the United States. I almost 11 years older than OA, but I traveled maybe 2 or 3 parks. I didn't have that kind of time. So I think maybe we had to call him Mr. Park. Well, my wife said, no, Park is a Korean name. No, maybe it was a national park. But really that, you saw the picture would show that he really liked the nature. It's the way he is. And he's not only intelligent, he's a very responsible person. She did not talk very much, but when she talked, it means something. And she's a golfer, but it's not very good, but when we play golf, he never takes it very seriously. I had the opportunity to play a few rounds with him, And of course I did it, you know. I don't know why so I did it. Every time he lost a hole, he said, why? I said, don't feel upset. He said, I never get upset because we're always the next hole to go. That's the way I look at the playing golf, the same thing. I didn't care. My age, 81 years old, I can go to play the golf. I'm the winner already. Same that we always had a similar philosophy. A letter I read, that's almost in tears when Shu-Jane tells that he say goodbye to his beloved husband and their kids, to their loved father, and the friends say hello to the good friend. He is so kind. He really enjoyed the life to the fullest. Well, everybody know that from we was born, our destined place is the death. Nobody who you are, even in Jesus Christ. So we had to look at positively. So my age, 81, we are on the line, but I don't know which time is my turn. But I think I would like to learn something from his philosophy. So he no more suffering. Now he rests in peace. I really missed the OA, and I hope the Shu-Jane, when his loan, can join because I'm still continue the promoting healthy community program. So far I have been talking to the people's 92nd time. I promise my master is going to talk about 100 times. Hopefully give me a couple more years so I can finish my mission. So I would like to also invite Dr. Shen to be with me when we go to, if any opportunity, we go to medical outreach. We will do from the country, and I've done with it 9-10 countries, over 30 some the medical outreach, international, also national. So I would like to encourage the Shu-Jane, don't give up, because your husband is a lovely one. I know you miss him, but think about, he is now on the way up there without any more physical suffering. I wish he will rest in peace. Thank you.
Next, we will have a video presentation from the Taiwanese blind beachball team.
上礼拜听到你的消息是有点遗憾，你跟盲棒的结缘也已经超过20年了，也是都是当我们球场上的最大的精神支柱哦，每次都陪我们走到冠亚军的最后这一步。
难过的知道我们的朋友离我们远去，我们会带着 OS 伯给我们的美好回忆，继续传承这样的温暖和爱。
我想这条路每一个人都要走的，是你先走的。对我们来说，你就像去了一个比较远的地方去旅行，将来有一天我 到时候可能我们就会有更多可以跟你分享的一些事情。
2012年跟着盲棒第一次出国比赛，在爱荷华认识了您跟干妈，也让我认识到一位博学多闻、慈眉善目、脸上总是带着笑容的一位长辈。您跟干妈就像是我们的队长一样，每当要比赛的时候，就会为我们打理好比赛的餐食，让我们可以专心的打球。这一切的一切真的都很美好。还记得2017年我们一起出去逛街，我挑了这件衣服，当时我拿着这件衣服问您说，这个英文是什么意思？您跟我讲说，就是生活上充满无限的可能，充满了很多很多的才能。当下您也鼓励我要好好的加油，这些话我都有听进去。
在2006年，我打世界杯的时候认识干爹干妈。干爹是一个非常博学多闻的长者，说话又风趣，对人也非常的客气。身为一个父亲呢，我总是感觉到他有满满的慈爱。记得最后一次见面的时候，干爹还抱着我的小儿子，我的小孩儿子在干爹的怀里也很安心的睡着了。那时候干爹还很开心的笑着，表示他宝刀未老。这快70岁了，哄一个小 baby， 还是一样得心应手。记得有一次到干爹家玩，我要带着我的过世的狗狗的骨灰去他的学校。干爹从一早就开车载我们到底特律，来回一天开车至少超过9个小时。他一个老人家60几岁，但是却没有表示出一点的辛苦或不耐烦。我会永远记得他，他也会活在我们一家的心中。
我第一次见到欧威是在2011年，那时候我是球队志工，所以我跟着球队到美国比赛的时候认识了欧威。那他也真的很像我们的父亲一样，就是对我们这些晚辈都非常非常的好。我还记得，就是我生小孩的时候，刚好他们也会来台湾，还有特地到月子中心来看我。每一年的比赛啊，其实除了说他们会飞到比赛的城市，然后帮我们加油，然后请我们吃饭，然后跟我们说说话、聊聊天啊。那我觉得每次看到他跟干妈的出现的时候，我们大家就会觉得非常的安心。每次出国，我们在募款的时候，他也给了我们很多很棒的建议，甚至是我们需要从美国把 Big Ball 带回来的时候，他跟干妈也都义不容辞的，就是一个人帮我们托运一箱回来这样子，真的是很多很多的感激。能够认识他，真的是我们这群晚辈的福气。
谢谢你对我们长期去美国的照顾，
谢谢 OA 师伯，谢谢你对我们的照顾，谢谢你，
谢谢您，
谢谢你，
谢谢你。
Next, we'll have Oi's younger daughter, Tiffany, here to say a few words.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tiffany, his younger daughter. So when I was young, people always said I looked like my dad. You would think that a little girl would want to look like a grown man, but I loved him so much, and I wanted to be just like him.
Continuing from where Tiffany left off. Over the years, he has taught me many things that I will carry with me forever. He taught me how to enjoy the pursuit of knowledge. I remember one day, he calculated out the probabilities of each poker hand three of a kind, straight, full house, etc., only to demonstrate why one was more valuable than the other. I remember visiting his office at NASA, and he and his coworkers had created rules for hearts using 5, 6, and 7 people, not just 4. You have to truly understand the game and its mechanics to build upon it like that. He always taught us that it was important to understand the underlying principles of a subject to truly master it, whether it was math, physics, or life. He taught me the power of respecting others. He was not a loud or forceful person, but he commanded a lot of respect, whether it was as Chinese school principal at NASA or amongst his family and friends. He gained this respect by always treating others with respect first. He was someone who always listened before he spoke, and as a result, when he spoke, we all listened. He taught me to be generous. He grew up without much money, and he had to work extra jobs to support his education. Due to my parents' hard work, my sister and I had every opportunity available to us. We never once had to worry about money. He said, just because we can take doesn't mean we have to. I think at that time he was referring to freebie giveaways at a fair. But he extended the lesson to mean that if we have enough, we can share. He took us volunteering on Thanksgiving and Christmas, at soup kitchens and nursing homes, and we learned to share our time with those less fortunate. He dedicated both time and money to Tzi-Chi and the Taiwan's Beep baseball team, and in turn received lifelong friends. He earned so much through his hard work and intellect, and his reaction was to give back. He taught me to live with joy and optimism. He said once, there are some things you can't change in life, but you can always change the way you react to them. I've never used this lesson more than I did these past few years. This has been one of the hardest years of our lives, but we have made it into one of the richest. We all moved to be together, had dinner together almost every night, solved crosswords, went on hikes, and even attempted to play golf. We laughed much more than we cried. I am grateful for everything my dad has given me, yet no amount of time would have ever been enough. I'll keep living these lessons in memory of him. To close, thank you to my family for making a difficult time as easy as possible. Thank you, June, for taking in my family as your own. You did it all, from big things like having my parents move in, to little things like picking up an extra med from the store. And you did it all with a smile. You made it look effortless. Thank you, Theresa. You found him a great oncologist, expedited biopsy with your boss, checked in on him in the ER even while you were away. More than that, you were always looking for meaningful ways for our family to spend time together. Hiking, crosswords, and dinner at the Marine Room. Thank you, Smith. It was your idea to move our family to San Diego, even if it wasn't easy for you or your mom. You always encouraged me to spend extra time with my family because you know firsthand exactly how precious that time is. Thank you to Mom for creating this lovely family with my dad. You took such good care of Daddy over the past year. I know it's not an easy burden to carry, but you did it with grace. And thank you to everybody who is here. He would often say, I've had a good life, and you were all a part of making his life so rich. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we will have Owe's elder daughter, Theresa.
Thank you everyone for coming. Last week we said goodbye to my dad after a long battle with gastric cancer. I never thought you would be leaving us so soon. Even now, there's a part of me that still can't believe that Daddy, of all people, could get metastatic cancer. Before it all, he and my mom are going on 5 to 7 mile hikes all over the country and national parks. A few years ago, we hiked Angel's Landing in Zion with some of my friends, and he and my mom beat us to the summit. I assumed we would have decades more together. My parents were planning to retire in California. We were going to visit each other all the time. He would have been the fun grandpa and everybody's favorite. But God had other plans, and this past year and a half have been so hard.
But my dad pushed us to find the silver linings and spend as much quality time together as possible. He and my mom moved to San Diego last fall, and we had family dinner together almost every night. We joked that it was like Thanksgiving every day. It's the everyday moments that I will miss the most. Watching the news, inventing new games for our dog, doing the crossword, grossing him out, describing my surgery of the day, finishing dinner and Daddy proclaiming, "Good meal." Walking through the canyon in our neighborhood and him showing all the places that he and my mom had discovered in our backyard. Going to the driving range and getting golfing tips, hearing your latest punny joke, falling asleep watching a movie together, competing with our daily Wordle sports, hearing you laugh. So much of who I am is shaped by you. There are the surface things, a love of math and problem solving, my decision to become a doctor, appreciation for nature, and there are the things that you taught me through quiet example that run so much deeper to the core. The value of gentle humility, to always be grateful and treasure what you have, your genuine empathy for others, your desire to lead a purposeful and meaningful life, the way you push and strive us to reach our highest potential. In my thoughts, my goals, and my desires, I feel your presence in every part of my being. Because my mom was finishing medical school and residency when we were growing up, my dad played a huge role in raising us. He was the best cook in our family and made dinner almost every night. I read once that daughters who are raised by fathers who do house chores are more ambitious and achieve higher earning potential. People always talk about the gender pay gap, the glass ceiling, but to be honest, it never really occurred to me that being a girl, being a woman, would be a barrier to what I wanted to achieve. Because I was brought up in a world where Daddy showed us through his support of my mom and belief in me and my sister that the world held no limits for us. And I hope to make you proud every day. I know you taught us to be independent so that we could take care of ourselves one day. And I wish so hard that day was not already here. But despite the hardships and challenges in your life, you built a truly loving family, and I promise we will take care of each other. Daddy, I love you so much, and I will miss you every day.
Finally, OA's wife, Shu-Jane, will share a few words. You're ready.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. I don't know if I can finish this because he cannot do it for me now. So I have to go out. To my dearest husband, my soulmate, my best friend, my universe, and my everything. It is still so difficult to accept you pass away. I still feel you around me everywhere I go because all the memories are imprinted in my mind. The way you talk, things you say, making witty, humorous jokes, calling my name. We are always together. I met you at Purdue University in fall of 1978. We became good friends because we enjoyed being around each other. I could be myself, talking freely with you. We had some obstacles to overcome because in the beginning, I had a boyfriend in Taiwan and you had a girlfriend in Pittsburgh. I really knew you were the one I had been looking for my entire life. I could not let you go. I was great. You felt the same way about me. The Florida trip in winter break of 1979, with 10 friends solidifies our relationship and feelings for each other. We officially became a couple in 1980 and married on June 1st, 1980. You always had a way to encourage me and challenge me to my full potential. One time, I said, I wonder if I could be a stay-at-home mom. You said, you cannot imagine me just a housewife. I smiled because you understood me so dearly. We moved to the greater Cleveland area in 1983. I had a postdoctoral job to do the medical research at Case Western Reserve Medical School. I was intrigued by the medical school at that time, so I told you I was kind of interested in going to medical school. I thought you might be against this idea because it might not be a good investment on my PhD, especially adding 4 years of medical school tuition on top. Instead, you encouraged me to pursue my dreams. You said that going to medical school was your dream. Your college entrance scores were good enough to go to National Taiwan University Medical School, but you were unable to go because your family was poor and you could not afford the tuitions. So with your encouragement, I went to the medical school for both of us. The medical school years was the busiest time of our life. I could not make it through without your help and encouragement. Theresa was 1 year old when I entered the medical school in 1986. Tiffany was born in the summer of 1987. When I was on call at hospital, you were also on call at home with one baby and one little kid. It took on a lot of household chores, including cooking and taking care of our daughters. They became very close to you. We made good partners and had great chemistry for everything we did, including raising our family. Many times, I asked my daughter the same questions without knowing it. He would say, Daddy just asked exactly the same thing. We wanted our children to grow up in a happy, warm, welcoming home. You said our 2 daughters are your greatest accomplishment. Indeed, they are accomplished, have great characters, positive attitudes, and are very caring people. We must have done something right, Daddy. After we became empty nesters, we enjoyed traveling together through many places, including national parks and many countries. We are inseparable. Every trip was great and memorable because of you. You were very adventurous and pushed me to my limits. I'd hoped we would travel to many places and enjoy the nature we love after I retired. In January 2021, a trip to ER due to back pain turned into a horrible ordeal and a nightmare come true. You were diagnosed with stage 4 gastric cancer. We began the process of fighting the cancer. We worked as a team, and I was with you every step of the way. It was a long battle, but we are always together. Even with stage 4 cancer, you were still upbeat, playing the golf and bridge, going hiking, planning a big move to California, while on chemotherapy. We never look back and thought, what if? We live in the present, try our best, and hope for the best. We solve the problems as they came. You kept adjusting to a new normal because of chemotherapy side effects and cancer progression. I'm very thankful that you had a decent quality of life until April this year. We fought the cancer till the end. You only suffered the last few days. And finally, you found a way to kill the cancer by sacrifice yourself so we can claim the victory. You always say you had a great life, so don't be sad for you. But I miss you so, so, so much. You are part of me, and you were always with me. I know you are in a good place in heaven. Have a good rest until we meet again. Daddy, bye. Rest in peace.
Thank you all for joining us tonight to help honor the memory of my father-in-law. Just a reminder that you can find the entirety of the service on the WITS webpage by tomorrow, by the end of the day tomorrow. And if you haven't already checked out the Kudos memory board and contributed, we encourage you to do so. And for those of you here in attendance, the family would very much like if you would come over to our house immediately following the service for a reception. Thank you very much.